Hello and welcome everybody. My name's Rose Smith from AbsoluteSoulSecrets.com. Thank you for joining me today for the terrific Taurus June horoscope. Well, luckily for most people, it's a much quieter month this month. We do have Mercury retrograde and it is in Taurus in June up until the 4th of June. So it is going to affect you, dear Taurians. Not to worry, it's only for a few days. It started off in Gemini, but it's ended up in Taurus, basically. So basically, when Mercury is retrograde, there can be miscommunications, misunderstandings, all sorts of problems with technology, I do know. It's the 17th of May while I'm recording this, and oh my gosh. Yeah, there's a lot happening. Yeah, the day after the lunar eclipse. And the other thing with it, though, is that there is some upside. So if you started something before, say, the 3rd of May, it's probably a good time to finish it off under Mercury retrograde. Often Mercury retrograde brings back things from the past that need to be attended to. So sometimes, yes, it's practical things, maybe creative projects. Other times it might be an old lover or maybe someone you used to go to school with or an old job, but something from the past comes back and there's something there for you to do. Okay, so there's a reason for it. The other thing to note is that Saturn is in Aquarius and it's also retrograde until the 22nd of October. It's in your 10th house of career, so there could be some sort of restrictions or limitations there to do with your career that need attending to. Often with a retrograding planet, you have to look at the situation in a new way, okay? Things slow down, they're not as they were before, and then when the planet turns direct, then they pick up again. You know, basically that's what happens. The other thing to note also is Neptune is retrograde in Pisces, bringing a very spiritual vibe, and it's in your 11th house of friends, groups and connections, also hopes and dreams. And so there's this very spiritual vibe from about the 27th of June right through to the 3rd of December. Okay, so that's a good thing. You might become aware, maybe there's some friends that come across your path, or they become friends, and you've got spirituality or metaphysics or something like that in common, so that's good. The only thing with that particularly is be careful that there's not miscommunications with these new connections or friends, because your thinking might be a little bit fuzzier than usual, you know, and it's very difficult to think analytically at this time. Okay, so I'll just briefly explain. I like to draw 2 tarot cards as theme cards for the month for you. We'll have a look at your horoscope in depth. And if you are new, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit that notification bell right now. Okay, let's go to the board. This is your horoscope. Okay, so alrighty. Okay, I've shuffled these cards up before. I'll just give them a quick light shuffle now, and we'll pick the first card. All right, that one on top. No, I like that one better. Okay, I'm getting the colour aqua, and so this is the blue of your throat chakra. It's also to do with some thinking and blue sky thinking, and there could be some opportunities there for you. And the green, adding that little bit of green in, is something about your heart's desires, okay? The card that comes up is the Wheel of Fortune. I love this card. I've actually got this blown up into a poster on my wall because I do love it. And it's basically saying that all things change. It doesn't matter really, you know, what the situation is. It's never going to stay the same forever. There's change on the horizons and fate is unfolding, basically. So, you know, depending on how you play your cards, there may be gains or maybe losses, but if you're careful, and Taurians, you normally are fairly careful, you can profit, or you can, you know, this is a time to get ahead when the Wheel of Fortune is changing. Okay, so that's excellent. All right, let's have a look at the second card, or perhaps the second half of the month for you, and we'll see what comes up. Okay, so closing my eyes now, I've got an owl on my shoulder. Basically, it's really important for you to listen to your intuition, because there's like this owl energy that's trying to give you wise advice this month, particularly the second half of the month. Know that you have, I want to say, actually, I was trying to say you have, but more importantly is that you are a great source of strength, not only for yourself, for what you want to do, but you're a great source of strength for other people as well. And it's almost like other people look up to you in some way, and they need your support. And, you know, anything that you can do to help them would be fabulous. All right, you've got 2 major arcana there, which is pretty significant. It hardly ever happens. So this, even though it's a quieter month, it's a big month for you. You might have had most of your turbulence in May, but it's still a very important month with 2 major arcana there. Okay, so I'm just going to make this a bit bigger so you can see, and we'll put that up like that. Okay, and we'll rock and roll on your horoscope. Now, there's a really nice influence here from the 30th of May to the 27th of July, Neptune sextiling Mercury. And so just remember that Mercury is retrograde for until the 4th, and then there's a few days of what's called a shadow period. So just watch for miscommunications. But you're more likely to be sympathetic and understanding of other people now, and you can give them the benefit of the doubt. You're more tolerant. And you just understand where they're coming from. There's likely to be better rapport with other people, particularly with Neptune here as well in your 11th house of friends, groups and associations. Okay, and it's an excellent time to talk to other people. You might talk about things that you don't normally talk about, even the taboo or the uncomfortable topics you'll be able to broach. And, you know, if there's some sort of issue there, you'll be able to work something out somehow. It's a great time for speaking and writing, especially that type of writing or speaking that involves sensitivity, because you're very much more sensitive now. It's a great time for creative writing and for counselling and consultation with other people, because, as I said, you are the source of strength to many. Any artistic talent or musical ability that you have now is likely to be boosted as well, and your imagination is on fire. So, you know, it's a very inspirational time for you. The 8th of June to the 12th of June sees Mercury trining Pluto, bringing great depth to your conversations. You might find that you hear people, because they trust you so much, they might divulge their secrets or their very private or personal issues. So, of course, that's a sacred thing, not to be spoken about elsewhere. But they'll just sort of volunteer that information. You probably don't even have to ask, basically, because this is like, it's like you've got this energy that's very sort of penetrating and gets down to the core of the issue. The 14th of June sees a full supermoon in Sagittarius. So this is a full moon, and you could have concerns about money, especially that money that's shared with other people, your joint resources. And anything that you're emotionally attached to, like sort of physical belongings and things like that, physical things, you might find that that's the focus of your attention now. Also, it's the house of intimacy, so there could be, with the full moon there, could be some sort of issues come up about intimacy. Maybe you want more of it and you haven't been able to get it. Just watch your emotions, that you don't overreact to some encounter. From the 5th of June to the 21st of June, Jupiter conjuncts Mars. This gives you a lot of physical energy and stamina. You feel more energetic and more enthusiastic, and you're more likely to go after what you want. Now, you've got a very positive attitude. You think you can do things, which is wonderful. And so that gives you the confidence to go out and try things. You might increase your exercise regime perhaps, or start exercising, moving more, which is always good. Just don't overdo it because you could be sore afterwards otherwise. If you do have a health problem, you might find that there's some sort of improvement as well, and it's just important not to push yourself physically too hard, or even mentally you could be trying to do, biting off more than you can chew, basically. So just watch that, and be careful of impatience with other people because you've got the energy and perhaps they don't. Okay, from the 11th of June to the 4th of July, Mercury moves into your second house here, so it moves from out of your sign into your house of finances, possessions, and things that you value, basically. So there could be a lot of discussions about money and commercial transactions, or your material security. It's a time when you need to be looking at managing your resources. Maybe it's a great time to talk to a financial planner or an accountant and to get your business affairs in order. From the 19th of June to the 22nd of July, the Sun moves into your third house here of communications and publishing. And so you might find there's a lot of telephone calls and commercial transactions and everyday sort of business, especially in your local area. This is also the house of siblings and distant relatives, so the Sun brings like new insight. Maybe there'll be some sort of contact with somebody that you haven't spoken to for a while, a distant relative, perhaps. It's also about your neighbourhood, your neighbours, and, you're likely to chit-chat and fritter away time, but that's not a bad thing. And talking to your neighbours is a good thing, basically. 21st of June to the 17th of July, Venus moves into your second house here. Okay, Venus is lovely. It's my ruling planet, and it could be, it's also your ruling planet, because it's lovely because Venus appreciates beautiful things. In your second house, you may want to buy some beautiful things, but you have to be careful that you don't overspend. Venus also looks after money, but she will push you to spend your money on special treats to make your life more comfortable or more beautiful. If you can afford it, sure, go ahead. But just watch you don't go overboard with this. There's also, it is a good time to buy beautiful things that appreciate in value, though, maybe art or jewellery, or, old-fashioned cars that accumulate, that can go up in price, but you do need to watch it, Anything that increases in value and will be appreciated for a long time can do well. But yeah, don't go to your local $2 shop and buy something and expect that, you've hit the lotto or something. 23rd of June to the 26th of June, Sun squares Jupiter. This brings a lot of optimism. You could be feeling more extravagant. You're certainly less cautious than usual. And you might just have the belief that nothing can possibly go wrong. We all know that never works out. And watch you don't overindulge in sweet things, overspend, or have any sort of excesses in any manner whatsoever. Okay, but having said that, there is likely to be a promising opportunity there for you too. 27th of June to the 30th of June, the new moon in Cancer in your third house here, and this is fabulous for discussing things with other people. However, you might have some emotional discussions as well. That's okay, because you're likely to develop an emotional rapport with other people, and it strengthens your relationships. Events from the past and subjective assessments can come up, however, and they come back and they influence your thinking now in the present. So we've all got that. We all carry baggage from the past. Just be aware of it. It's no big deal. But new moon in Cancer in the third house does suggest that there's new communications coming from new sources. 24th of June to the 25th of June, Uranus trines your MC, and this is fabulous in your career. You've got Saturn here providing some boundaries and limitations, which may or may not be a good thing. But with Uranus trining your MC, there's some exciting developments that happen. So on one end of the spectrum, you might be feeling sort of down about your current career and decide to leave. On the other end of the spectrum, something really positive happens in your work. You could get a promotion, for example, with more money, for example. If your current work is boring and tedious, that's probably not going to work for you. Uranus doesn't like that. Uranus wants excitement. And Uranus also wants freedom and creativity, and so you could be transferred to a more progressive area or do a complete job change. Interesting work is very important. It won't just fall into your lap. You probably have to do something about it. But yeah, basically the energy is with you. If you're not working or you don't want to work, this is about your life in general. And you might just find exciting things happen. You make new discoveries, new ideas, and new experiences, even if it's something simple like going to a new restaurant where you've never been before, or something like that. But yeah, get the balance between having a boundary, working inside, colouring inside the lines of life, and then also going outside the boundary and colouring outside the lines, basically. Okay, there's a balance point there. Alrighty, so that's your horoscope, which is pretty exciting for you. And I hope this has been useful for you. There's change at foot, and some more interesting experiences happening for you this month. Terrific, Taurus. Thanks so much for watching. If you're new, I would appreciate if you subscribe and hit that notification bell. Have a fabulous month, everyone, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now. Thanks so much for watching. Please visit my website, absolutesoulsecrets.com, for all things spiritual. Have a lovely day.